I want to find an angle between 0 and 360 that is coterminal to 420. So 420, what you should realize, 420 goes around and then some more. So how do we find that out? Well, we have to make this in terms of 0 to 360. So 1 revolution is 360. So if I simply take 420 and minus 360, won't that create another coterminal angle? Subtract, that would be that, borrow. And that's 60 degrees. 60 degrees should be a coterminal angle to 420. Now, how do you visualize that? What you do is you start here, and for 420 you go around once, and then 60 degrees more. There it is. 60 degrees more. That is coterminal to 420. This one, between 0 and 360, for negative 120. So negative 20 is going to go down and under. So if I want to change this to a number between 0 and 360, don't have to add 360 to get it into that range. So I'm going to so I'm going to go negative 120 plus 360. Now, if I go, okay, let me write that. Would that help to subtract in order to do that? Would it help to do that? And when I subtract, won't that be 40, isn't that 240? So won't that be positive 240 degrees? Again, when you add, you're subtracting when there's a negative involved. So that would be 240. So let's draw that. Okay. If I started here and do negative 120, negative 120 goes around, okay, to how far? Right there? Yeah. Or do I go farther? No, it's right there. Is it right there? Yeah. Would that be it right there? Oh my God. So that is negative 120. So isn't this right here the coterminal, which is positive 240 degrees? So we're looking for a coterminal, something ends there that's in the realm of this. Do you have to draw it? No. It's best just to add or subtract 360. So in order to find this between 0 and 2 pi, you can revolve negative pi over 3, which gets you somewhere down here. Or what you do is, couldn't you just add 2 pi, which is the same as 360? If I add 2 pi to this, I can get my coterminal angle. So I have negative pi over 3 plus 2 pi. Now, here's the problem. Some of you struggle with adding a fraction with a whole number. In order to do that, you have to get common denominators. So I'm going to put a 1 down here, and I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 3. The reason for that is I want the denominator to be the same for both pieces. When I do that, I now have negative pi over 3 plus 2 times 3 is 6 pi over 3. So 2 pi is the same as 6 pi over 3. Now can you add the tops and get 5 pi over 3? There you go. Now, that is how you do it mathematically. You could also do it by a picture. You could also just take a third under. So you could start here, and you go a third under. Wouldn't that take you right there? And if you want, so this is a negative third. Or you could go around this way and call that 5 pi over 3. So if you go around, it's 5 pi over 3, but if you go under, it's negative pi over 3. These two are coterminal. They terminate at the same place. But this is in the interval I am asking for. Next one, last one is between 0 and 2 pi, I want this. This is bigger than 2 pi. So I could do it with a picture, but I'm going to do it mathematically. I'm going to do 7 pi over 2, and I'm going to subtract 2 pi. In order to do that, I have to put a 1 underneath, and I have to multiply top and bottom by 2 so that I get common denominators. And I'm going to get 7 pi over 2 minusing 4 pi over 2. Now, again, where did I get 4 pi over 2? When I multiply top and bottom by 2, that becomes 4 pi over 2. And if you reduce that, you can kind of make sense. Now, can you subtract the tops? And you get 3 pi over 2. That right there is coterminal to this, and it's in the interval. So, if I drew 3 pi over 2, well, if you start here, 3 pi over 2 is around to right there. That's 3 pi over 2. Is that the same as going all the way around and back? It's got a little writing there, but is that the same as wrapping around once and back to get 7 pi over 2? That was maybe a little too confusing. But I wrapped around once and back, that's where 7 pi over 2 is. That's why the picture gets a little weird. When you start revolving several times around, the picture gets a little fuzzy. So it's a little bit easier to use this method. Over here, the picture might have been really good. So coterminal angles are, these two angles will both end at the same spot right there.